Okay, we'll call this public hearing to order. The topic is fiscal year 2024-2025 supplemental budget. Cory, you want to explain this a little bit more?
Sure. So this hearing on supplemental budget. The purpose of the supplemental budget is to provide funding into the tourism fund to cover the costs of the new contract and the estimated shortage that we'll have based on the new contract.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and open it up for public comment. If you have a comment, please come on up and state your name for the record and keep it 3 minutes or less. And
Joseph Hall, lived here in St. Helens for 11 years. My public comment on this is you're going to budget funding for tourism. Fine and dandy. But what about all the crime that's going on in our neighborhoods right now? And tourism is great. People are going to come to St. Helens regardless because it's a very nice community. But as the crime increases in this town like it has over the last 3 months, and I have personally been a victim of these crimes, why are we putting so much money into tourism when we should be putting it into crime? And from my understanding that as of October 1st, the 24-hour patrol is not going to be there anymore, or lack of staff. So you're bringing tourism, you want money for tourism to come in, you want our tourists to come in, and at night when they're walking around our beautiful town, crime happens, they get robbed, they get assaulted. The victims of the crime from the tourism that you're pumping money into, they don't want to be in a town with the amount of crime that is going on in this neighborhood. I'm a victim of this crime, and I had to fight, get charges put against that victim. His statements were, I get away with this all the time. So we're going to pump money into tourism and continue to money, for, money that should be going to law enforcement. As a Marine, at this point, pardon the expression, but I'm a pissed off Marine right now. Resident of this town, 11 years, own a home and a small business. I don't see a problem with tourism. I see a problem with crime. And the crime is increasing as the funding goes towards, the mental health and bringing the Portland community, because Portland is coming to St. Helens, to Columbia County. And then as these crimes increase in St. Helens in Columbia County, why are the tourists going to want to come to a town like us? They're not going to want to come to a town like this. And I would discourage people from coming with the amount of crime so their stuff doesn't get ripped off like I get ripped off all the time. Thank you. That's my comment.
public comment.
Theft in your driveway is only going to lead to a break-in into your home.
Do we have anybody on Zoom? Okay.
So I'm opposed to this.
Name for the record, please.
Sorry, Brady behind. This 300,000, which is probably the first of multiple payments. The 300,000. Add on to now I Broadway wants the 193,000 paid immediately. But they want their whole year of funding now. Even though they've only worked for partially a year, they want all 193,000 paid to them upfront rather than in monthly installments. So you have 300,000, of course, 120,000 of that's but in the budget. So that's only $73,000 over the budget. No biggie. Plus 300,000, which isn't in the budget, plus had you hired E2C, you would have had a $220,000 guaranteed revenue stream. That adds up to $713,000. Or for those people like who may not be able to add, that's 7 cops for the guy that was just here. So we're gonna spend this $713,000 for a company that has yet to put a ticket sales up. There are no ticketing, there's no scheduling, and we are literally like a week away. Of course, they didn't want to counsel. You heard Barry call in. I've told you multiple times before he called, he's gonna sue you. He called and told you he's gonna sue you. Not only is he gonna sue you, he's gonna get 3 other talent agencies to sue you. If you think he's playing, he's not. You are gonna lose that. So there's another $100,000 that you're gonna lose, plus attorney fees. And you're not gonna have an event, and we're never gonna have another talent. It's like, what is going on? This contract is an unmitigated disaster. And has been, and it's like, I don't know how you get out of it. Then we have the issues of now you're putting an account, which Treadway knew when they sat here and were interviewed, they asked, how is this going to be funded? And you told them, Mr. Walsh, that they were expected to fund this on their own. Now we're giving them money. If they didn't know that, which they did because you told them, they shouldn't have signed the contract. If they don't have their $300,000 of their own money, then they should have said, sorry, we can't do this. This is not a contract for us. I mean, there's lots of people that say, oh yeah, we'd like to do it, but upfront, when you're dealing with a government entity, doesn't matter whether it's the city, the county, whatever, there is times where you may have to spend your own money. That's how it works out and get paid. And if you don't have the cash flow to do that, then you don't take the contract. That's just how it works. We don't then go back and let them, by giving them this money and sharing an account with them, whether you call it a joint account or a cash account or whatever, the problems it creates as far as purchasing, it's now being purchased with the city's money. So there's prevailing wage, there's RFP stuff, there's all sorts of stuff now that happens because of this shared account. To me, this is a no. You should vote no on this. And if Treadway can't afford it, they should just leave.
Any other visitor comments?
Adam St. Pierre. I'm confused. Brady got me. I thought we had an independent contractor so that there was a separation between the city and the contractor. So if the independent contractor signed this contract with this talent, why is the city getting sued? I thought that was the whole purpose for an independent contractor. And as for Treadway, they were supposed to have an operational fund, the WANA account, which, well, I guess it's still frozen. Why that is, I don't know. You know, we've only been throwing red flags since like November of last year that this should have been addressed, but I mean, we sent it in emails. Some of you guys opened it, but not all of you. And so here we are. We have all these questions, all these things that should have been addressed way back in November, December of last year. And now we're doing it now. I don't know why. I have a sneaking suspicion why, but you know, there's some failures that have happened throughout it, and those failures really need to be addressed. And that is something that you as council can address and you as the mayor can address. And that's by simple putting a, item on the agenda of, putting John Walsh on administrative leave for tourism. So, there we are. I wasn't going to speak this session, but I'm still trying to figure out. I thought we hired an independent contractor, so why we're supposedly getting sued now, because all the liability and all the risk went to them after the Sandcastle thing. I still haven't put together why we're supposed to be paying as, citizens. So appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Jennifer Massey, citizen of St. Helens, and I'm gonna echo Adam on the WANA account. So I'm super confused about that too. I was on the budget committee. We did a supplement, or we did, the budget. I asked a lot of questions about tourism, the WANA account, asked for clarification, got no support or clarification on this WANA account that is actually the city's funds and the operational funds for tourism. So now we're sitting in this situation where we have a lot of people that, apparently want to watch every misstep for Treadway, this new contractor coming in. Want to see them fail for obvious reasons and are going to look for any reason possible. But it seems like I mean, collectively, I guess I'm kind of looking at why we have a huge failure right now. That funds is supposed to go to the new contractor. E2C didn't come in to the city of St. Helens and just automatically pull everything out of her or her company's pocket. We subsidize out of the community development fund a lot. That's seed money to get going. So what are we doing for this new contractor? And why is it that all of a sudden it should just be on them? I mean, this is idiocracy that we're talking about here. They're put at a disadvantage. So, I'm completely bewildered why we're sitting here still with this one account, why we're talking about the fact that we're doing a supplemental budget. Seems like, one, obviously, this should have been vetted out in November, December with the utopic amount of emails we sent in saying this was going to be an issue more likely than not, and it wasn't taken care of. But there's been no explanation from council besides it's being discussed by the lawyer on when we're gonna see that count unfrozen. I think that should be owed to the citizens on some type of timeline. I mean, that seems like the responsible thing to do before all of a sudden we're doing another supplemental budget. This makes no sense to me, and I have no idea, as I sit here in front of you today, how that is not theft of taxpayer funds in that account. And I'm just bewildered that we're dealing with, I get it, contracts happen, but this right here is affecting the taxpayers' money, affecting businesses. It's literally, unfortunately, tarnishing a contractor that actually did great things. I've said it publicly many times. I did not have an issue with Tina Curry or E2C personally. I was maybe one of my few group in my organization that didn't. But right now, I'm pretty disgusted a lot by the toxicity and the continued divide that happened here. And I mean, I personally would never think that that this should be happening under your watch and continuing to happen. It's just really an embarrassment. And I'm gonna echo Adam once again. Rick, you have the job as a mayor. You can put things on the agenda. You've said it several times. By the fact that you have not put this man, John Walsh, on administrative leave at this point and had this look into, having people paid cash out of the city of St. Helens envelopes alone should be a huge concern. And I am gravely concerned about what may be found here.
Hey, any other more public comment here on the supplemental budget? Do we have anybody on Zoom?
I mean, nobody raised their hand.
Seeing none, this hearing is closed. Okay, we'll call this council regular session to order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we go into visitor comments, I have a proclamation to read, so bear with me because I don't have my glasses. This proclamation is Oregon Direct Support Professionals Recognition Week, whereas an estimated 30,000 Oregonians experience an intellectual and developmental disabilities and benefit from assistance from others who live rich, fulfilling, and inclusive lives. And whereas approximately 16,000 Oregonians are employed as direct support professional DSPS an essential job that requires high-level skills, training, and dedication to support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And whereas DSP in Oregon promotes opportunities for peoples with disabilities to fully participate and valued members of their community, enhancing their well-being and supporting people in all aspects of daily lives. And whereas DSPS must, I think it's
DSPs.
Ps, okay. Must build close, respectful, and trust relationships with those whom they work. It requires compassion, empathy, and the highest ethical standards. And whereas ESPs help people manage complex medical and mental behavior needs, assist people with communication, and provide intimate personal support on a daily basis. And whereas DSPs work through some of the most challenging circumstances imaginable, working with front lines throughout the pandemic, ensuring people's safety during extreme wildfires, and helping people cope with prolonged power outages during historical ice storms. And whereas there was a critical stage of DSPs throughout Oregon. And together we are committed to improving wages, benefits, and opportunities for advancement to improve the quality of support, safety, and health of individuals with disabilities. Now therefore, I, Rick Scholl, of the city of St. Helens, hereby proclaim the September 8th through the 14th, 2024 as Oregon Direct Support Professional Recognition Week in the city of St. Helens, and encourage all citizens to join me in this important observance. I hereby unto put my hand and cause on the seal of the city of St. Helens to be affixed at City Hall on this 4th day of September 2024. Okay, we'll go ahead and open it up for visitor comments. If you'd like to have a comment, please come on up and say your name for the record. Keep it.
Joseph Hall. Recently, August 13th, I was a victim of a crime. And I'm gonna keep pressing this issue on this crime because this is a rampant problem in St. Helens. Since August 13th, when I caught a victim red-handed in my driveway stealing. Called the police. Police came out. They knew this guy. They've dealt with him before. They basically wanted to just let him go because it was just cans and bottles. Okay. Cans and bottles. Well, I had 28 bags at an average of $20 or $7 per bag in my driveway, which I donate to the Boy Scouts. A little behind on getting these. Got a small lecture about leaving cans in my driveway. Well, leaving cans in my driveway behind a no trespassing sign, that's a crime. That's theft. Basically, I had to press the issue on getting charges filed. So since August 13th, I have followed these individuals around, and there's a total of 5 of them. One of them is a scout. 2 o'clock in the morning, I've been out there, know his routine. Comes through the neighborhood early in the afternoon, in the morning, during during recycling. Takes pictures of cars, takes pictures of houses, takes pictures of items. I have video, I have proof. Then, lo and behold, within the next 24 to 48 hours, crime happens. Theft. Thefts from cars, thefts from driveways, thefts from backyards. Then most of the people are elderly. They don't want to come and make a report because they're afraid of retaliation. I was threatened with my life. I was told my tires would be slashed. My house would be robbed, which I reported to the police by the same individual. This individual is due in court tomorrow. And I encourage you guys to be at court tomorrow to see this first-time criminal who has gotten away with so much crime in St. Helens, and the cops know him. They've said, oh, he steals cans and bottles all the time. Why hasn't he been arrested? Why he is not in the system already paying the price? Because it's just a matter of time before he rings a doorbell like he did with his group of 5 or 6 other homeless people. Nobody's home, walks in the door. I sleep upstairs with my girlfriend in the back of the house. We can't hear anything downstairs. Half the time our internet's out. I come downstairs, somebody's robbing my house, I'm gonna shoot him. Point blank. Because they're robbing my house. My house has been robbed one time. Reported to the police the first year that I was out here in St. Helens. Police responded, took care of the problem. But now the theft, all of the theft is going on between certain times of the day and night. And we want to get rid of this 24-hour patrol that I heard a rumor about. And you're gonna pump money into, you want to pump more money into tourism instead of putting it towards crime? I was a victim of a crime. My neighbors, my friends, I've got one neighbor here, same thing, it's her neighborhood. I knocked on probably, I would say, 30 doors, talked to about 20 of those neighbors. A whopping 19 of them have had the same thing happen. My mailman, same thing. Caught somebody red-handed, dropped cans and bottles. Same individual. I showed him a picture. Yep, that's him. I see him all the time. He's always stealing from driving. He's reported it. Why has anything yet not been done about this group of people? These same 5 or 6 people that are robbing, stealing. It's just a matter of time before they walk into a house and rob them. And I am sick and tired of it. I've seen it. And I am a pissed off Marine right now. And anybody knows that expression with a Marine, once he gets pissed off, he doesn't stop until he gets action. It's an election year. And I've been talking to mayor candidates. I've reached out to several of the candidates for mayor, Jen Massey being one of them, giving her input on the crime. Why isn't the city council taking this stuff serious? Because tourism, this is why I came to this town and settled from Portland, to get away from the crime, to get away from that type of action. Lack of response time for police action. I could pick up the phone, half the time 911, boom, they're there within seconds. This last time took 5 minutes. Why did it take 5 minutes? Guy's stating he has a gun in his backpack and he's going to shoot me if I don't let him go. I didn't hold him there. I walked him in front of him and held him there. Relayed that to the police. Nothing was done about it. He did get charged with theft 3 and criminal trespass. And I'm gonna follow this all the way through. I've been in contact with the prosecutor. And I'm gonna follow this all the way through, and I'm gonna press the issue to get this guy in the system to where some action is gonna be taken against him, because he is a thorn in everybody's side out here. He's known to all the cops. He's known to half the residents and his little group of homeless people, their drug addiction, the Forest Park apartments, the 2 units over there that are dealing drugs right out the window. Walk up there. I've been over there. I've watched it. I've seen it. Why aren't the cops in there? Didn't the Habitat for community action take over that there? It hasn't been cleaned up. It's gotten worse.
So I'm gonna have to ask you to wrap it up. Well, I'll check on that, and Counselor Sundin's the liaison over police, so I will check on that. And I have not had an opportunity to talk to you.
Okay. I'd like to set up a time to talk to you.
Absolutely. My number is very available, and so is my email.
Okay.
It always has been. So I don't want this to be a political thing. I want this to be about crime, and I hear you.
Yep.
Okay.
But it's turning into a political
Okay.
thing. So
Okay.
that's all I have to say.
That's all I can say.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody has a right to come up and have their public comment period.
Same issue, this
Oh, can you state your name for the record, please?
is Catherine Ross. Same issue, I've seen 5 out of 6 on my street, and they are blatant. Broad daylight, they will walk up and down and just looking down the driveways, just in my driveway, and when I'm just looking around me, canvassing the neighborhood, go down to the corner, make hand signals, like, my car was drained of gas on the 7th or 8th of August, as was immediate neighbors. We figured it was the Forest Park druggies, because we all know where the drugs being dealt from. But then a couple weeks later, I heard a friend who had an RV staying on my property for like 4 days. And we heard this weird, like really loud clanging noise, sound like from my backyard. So we ran out front. I don't know why there's 4 cars in front of my house, but they were just taking off. And we reviewed her footage of her RV. About the time the cops had showed up, there was somebody, but it was just their feet, walking quickly down the side of her RV onto the back of my property. And what we heard was whoever was jumping my fence. This is all the 4 cop cars left. And then that morning, about 4:20 in the morning, which is about when they tend to hit, my friend in the RV, her camera alerted her. She couldn't figure out why there's somebody walking. It was the scout guy. Look out, somebody was walking just back and forth across her RV. And what she didn't realize is that while they were doing that, somebody drained her RV tank with her in it on my property. I had all of my outside lights on, and then they went across the street either before or after and drained a neighbor's high octane race car gas, which is pretty expensive stuff. And that was 4:20 in the morning on the Sunday morning. It was, I don't have the date on me, but it was probably like 2 weeks after the 7th or 8th when me and my neighbor's cars got hit.
That would have been the 20th of August.
It's the same time you guys hit. Yeah. Yeah, but they are blatant. The police have their names. I've talked to business owners, given the description. Some random business owner, yep, that's who they are. These people, they're well known to the cops. I went down, I wanted to file a report. I talked to somebody at the police station, but apparently if I don't ask for a report number, it never got filed. I just wanted to be in as a statistic that my little property, which is not, we all either retired or we take care of our little neighborhood. But my property got hit twice. My car, one side of my property, the RV on the other side of my property, across the street from me and across the street from me. And they just blatantly walk up and down and they don't care. And now hearing the rumors also that the night patrols are going to be stopped. This is when these guys are out. And what are we supposed to do? License, come do anything you want because there's not going to be night patrols. And if you're pouring want to pour all this money again into tourism, which I understand is important, it attracts business. But my friend that stayed with me, she's like, I'm not coming back. If I can't park on somebody's property without having somebody run down that person's property and jump the fence, because that's what I heard, them jumping my chain link, and getting my RV drained. Like, I'm not staying in this city. It's, you ought to have the right to be on your property and not have people jumping fences. And so I'm going to look at, putting in security cameras, but I don't know that it's all going to do any good except me put out a bunch of money. So it's very frustrating. My other neighbors didn't want to come. We don't want to be retaliated against. I didn't want to come one hand because I don't want my name out there. That I'm sitting here because if somebody watches this, oh yeah, well that's the one, she said something about me or whatever. So, but it's a big concern and we're all like, we're leaving our lights on. We're, nervous about anyone walks up and down our street now. It's like, who are you? I mean, we're saying that to ourselves. The suspicion's there, the unsafeness is there. And we're just living our little lives, we either work or we're retired and we're just minding our little business. So it's very disheartening and scary if it is true that they're not having night patrols. I'm very close to the Forest Park Apartments. And in the 10 years I've lived here, I've called 911 more times than in my entire life. I'm almost 68 because of the drugs in the neighborhood, the drugs being dealt. Drug-related issues. And we're just this little quiet street, you know, we're all good people, but we're pretty close to those apartments, so it's, my 3 minutes are up, so I just want to put my 2 cents in that. It's very, very disheartening to not be safe. And not even have it being taken down as a report. You know, and I will have to go down, I guess, and ask incident report. I just want my statistics in there. Because I'm representing 4 hits on my property. They don't steal my cans because I have pickup once a month. And it's 98% used cat litter. And they've only ever opened my garbage can once to think they're gonna scrounge for cans. They bypass me. Just throw that in there too. Nobody opens my garbage can. Especially in the summer.
Any other public comment?
Jennifer Massey, City of St. Helens. I have a few things. First of all, I want to talk about, I watched the general work session today or listened to it. I was working, so it's really hard for people that want to participate, you know, come during the day sometimes. So I did listen from afar, and I just wanted to echo something that Russ said when we had the discussion, the lengthy discussion about the waterfront. I think it is helpful for citizens and businesses to have that opportunity to engage. Great that there was communication that happened, you know, with quite a few business owners. I think that was overdue. But I did want to mention on Russ's comments about mistakes happen sometimes. They do. When things get like, when things are put in and taken out, those that actually have turned wrenches or done actual construction in the field, they know that things can happen. So it does happen. But you know, there's some things that struck me, from that conversation. One, as I sit here today, coming from my career in construction, actually doing many mega projects, I still am befuddled about the lack of developer. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, or it's the best decision for the city. That's the reality. It might sound good in theory, but it may not be the best thing or the most advantageous thing to do. So it's unfortunate that there wasn't a little bit more forethought, but that also could just become from lack of experience of, right, you know, there's also, you know, college and degrees and all that kind of stuff. But when application happens in the field, that's a completely different world. And Counselor Hubbard, I think you probably could recognize that, right? Murphy's Law, what goes wrong can go wrong or can go wrong. And I wanted to mention about the unforeseen task, because that was something that resonated with me. Doing a ton of work in like refineries that have been around for 100 years. That's like, you know, those things are torn up and replaced, and they run new systems all the time. There's lack of PNIDs, lack of red line drawings. It's very difficult to do work there because you end up with a spaghetti like pipes underneath, right? And there are ways and methods to mitigate risk. Like this could have been a catastrophic event that we had out here, right, with the gas line. But the reality is you could actually perimeter that. They do it at refineries all the time for people that have actually done work in the industry. You can perimeter it, you can pothole it, you can hand dig it. There's ways to do that when you are expecting the unexpected. So it does bother me, the unforeseen risk. You always have that, but then you take those unforeseen risks and you actually put mitigation plans in place. And that happens where people generally know to ask the questions from the industry. And I also then want to talk about the balanced budget. So I get it. We need a balanced budget, but when we get back to the basics, there's, you know, the top 2 things for a municipality is police, so public safety, fire and medical. Our police get there in most cases before any of the EMS. So they're performing life-saving measures, doing CPR. It happens quite often, and they're there very quickly before everybody else. And so and then infrastructure on top of that. And I sit here in front of you today when we're talking about all the rumors. We know it's coming, right? That 24-hour coverage is going away. And this is like the water bill scenario. Why are we not communicating with the citizens? Right? Why are we not? Why is this going to be a surprise when it's going to happen? So we need a balanced budget, but we haven't been doing anything to protect our public safety. I don't know this gentleman back here. I think there was some converse, but this is coming up all over. Our relief apartments has come up in the news article lately. This is a real thing. We're putting more people in this town and we're not taking care of it. I have not fact checked this, but I I would love it, Brandon, if you could, because you're kind of a historical person. If you could look back in 1970, I think we had a population about 6,200 people. And what I'm hearing is that we had 16 people on patrol at that time. Right now, we're knocking just south of 15,000 people, and we're gonna have 9 on patrol. It's a serious problem, people.
Mhm.
And we have paid so much attention to this tourism, which I think we need that, but we also need to make sure that our people are safe here when they go to bed at night. And I think we need to be honest with people. Are we gonna lose 24-hour coverage come October? Don't make people just guess. Don't have rumors. Be clear and be transparent with the people.
Thank you.
Adam St. Peter, I actually did plan on speaking at this session. First of all, I want to say congratulations on getting the paper mill up and going. I understand Russ was a big part of that. I heard him talk about it at council quite a few times. City needs that. It's industry. We really need that. We need the income that it's going to generate. And that's something the whole council should be proud of. That's a big deal for this community. We needed that. So that's the good positive part. Now I'm going to be me. I read in the paper today. Rick said he's going to start answering questions. That's pretty good. Now it's election season. That's good because I've sent emails. I know he doesn't look at them because we can see when he looks at them. I made phone calls. We played phone tag once or twice. Really hard to get a hold of. But first and foremost, first question I'd really like answered, because I don't want to get it on Facebook or anything like that, is John Wall sent an email out a while back ago saying that we're going to do audits on the last 2 years of E2C. When is that going to start? The citizens should be able to know how much of their assets they're going to get back, how much has been out there, not what hasn't been spent. We need to audit it before we go into negotiation, so we know how much of the citizens' money should be out there. So, 2 years of audits, we do them. We find out what was auditable, what were reimbursable expenses, because we have a track record. We have email chains that we've seen. If you opened our emails, you guys would see them too, where there's questionable receipts that were written on, a napkin that had maybe not necessarily a napkin, but an unauditable receipt. So we should know how many of those exist and how many of that money should be there before we go into negotiations to make sure we get the citizens all of their assets, not what's left. The account's frozen at this point, right? So no more money could be spent. We aren't losing anything by doing the audits first before we go after something. The money's gonna be there. We've already done a supplemental budget. What's one more supplemental budget if it takes an extra 6 months to get there? But let's get those audits started. Who's gonna do them? This is information that the citizens should know, that it should be out there. Not on Facebook, but the city should let us know at council. It's not that hard. And my little grant was, can somebody at council remind me what an independent contractor is? I'm sure we've all been told a million times what it is by somebody here in the room. Why are we dealing with lawsuits? Why are we paying people off? I thought that was an independent contractor to deal with all that. Maybe I just misunderstood it. I'm sorry. But then again, I don't know, because I heard today when they were telling us about the lawsuit that they were going to file against us, that John Walsh promised him a contract. Can we prove that? Probably not. Did he? I don't think he did. But once again, here we are. We have John Walsh in the middle of it. Plausible deniability for Rick because he won't open our emails. He doesn't want to know the information going on. Yeah, just back to the same thing is, we have a common core here. On a lot of the stuff that hasn't happened, and the reason why it hasn't happened is John Walsh. I think it's time that Rick steps up and actually does the one thing he can do as the leader of the city and put it on the agenda. I don't think that the majority of council here thinks that John Walsh has done an amazing job on tourism or most of that in the last, year. Those of you who've opened the emails we've sent you, have seen the information we've sent you. There's a lot of questionable stuff, a lot of ties there, and things that should have been answered way back in November and December of last year when a lot of these issues were brought up. So I hope you guys can, we have it. Let's have a vote. See what this council thinks.
Other visitor comments?
pretty high. So the one thing I would agree with Adam about is that, yes, he misunderstood. There's a lot, that happens a lot. So I'm in agreement with that. First of all, and first and foremost, the contract situation. Pretty simple. ETC did sign the contracts, including for 13 nights, the Sandcastle contest, the talent that was here. And was specifically asked during that time when they were a contract for the city about the continuation of those contracts. And was told that all of those events would take place and that the city would take over those contracts or that Treadway would. So it wasn't a mystery that how it happened. It was the city specifically said that, yes, we are going to do those contracts. And in fact, Treadway said that they were going to do the contracts with the talent in particular. And then they just decided that, oh, we actually don't have our crap together and can't get it because normally when you have a talent that's coming here to this town, they advertise, they put out ticket sales, and those events are sold out before July. It is now September and there's not even a ticket to be sold. So of course, you're not going to sell out an event that you haven't even sold a ticket for. But Treadway has no need to sell tickets because they're gonna get $500,000 this year for doing nothing. There is no performance required. There is nothing in the contract that says we're gonna withhold money if you don't do a good job. Nothing. So why do they need to sell a ticket? They don't. They're gonna get $500,000 this year and not have to do a damn thing for it. They could put out the pumpkin and say, we're done. Thank you. Where's our check? That is because your contract was written that way and you are responsible for that. As far as the WANA account, again, you can ask. Jennifer Massey sat here in the budget committee, asked about the WANA account. Jennifer Gilbert asked about the WANA account and was told by Mr. Walsh, the mayor, your attorney, and your finance director, that account does not belong to the city, never did belong to the city. As Adam said, it's an independent contractor. You don't get to share accounts like you're now trying to do. That has been E2C's account. You are going to lose that in mediation. It is not going to come back to the city. It's never been your money. There was nothing in the contract that talked about revenue sharing at all, period. So that account is not yours, never has been. I guess that's all I have to say. Oh, as far as E2C, the one thing I wanted to say is Treadway, they don't return phone calls. I've called them 5 times, left the messages, they've never returned a phone call. They don't return Barry's phone calls either.
Okay. Nick.
So real quick, sorry.
Hey, little guy.
So big.
He's crawling now. Nick Helmick, City of St. Helens. So I gotta be really vague about a situation. I want to first, for the record, I obviously support police and our first responders. I've witnessed firsthand the amount of non-trauma informed care provided to individuals with mental illness. I've seen police officers say, why don't you sit like a man? Why don't would you always act this stupid? Make very derogatory terms towards mentally ill individuals. And it just doesn't seem effective and it seems counterintuitive. We always place our own mental capabilities on others. And to see that happen with our finest, to do that with people who are under their lowest and when they need the most amount of support. I know he's really distracted.
He was talking.
Talking to me.
Yeah.
He's supportive. It's really disheartening.
Going that way.
I know it's hard, right? It's yin and yang right now.
This is-
I've witnessed EMS decline to transport someone who was suicidal because they don't get paid for it and outwardly say that to us. And I don't know if they need to take that up with their higher, whatever the chain of command is. It just seems disheartening that I do everything I can do to make sure that people who need the help the most get that help. And just to be kind of thrown to the side, we don't have the best relationship with police and EMS because we're needing them so often. And it seems like we're just kind of ignored. Again, I have to be vague. I'm speaking just on me and not anyone else or any other company, just what I've experienced. And I know it's a shared experience with other people. And it's just, I don't know if there's something we can do. There's been complaints submitted. And last thing I want to do is submit complaints after complaint because you guys are getting enough of that shit, if I'm being honest. Sorry, Ivan. And again, I wish I could be more detailed. Maybe we can talk offline. But it's disheartening to see that profit over people when it comes to our first responders, when that's our taxpayers. In reference to Treadway, I do agree with Brady and Adam and Mrs. Massey. Seems weird that we're giving them a line of credit. It should be something that they support on their own. If they fail, are we gonna be left holding the bag? Hopefully there's something in the contract that holds their company liable, but if they go bankrupt, then we're not gonna be, as a 11-year debt collector, I can tell you, if it's an LLC, there's not much you can do to go after because it's the corporation. It's not a sole proprietor. You can't go after the individual owner of the business. So that's all I have to say. And I also have a farm stand on South 4th Street. So if anybody wants to get some nice tomato jam, we just made a fresh batch. So $4 a can, keep the can. So thank you so much.
Hey, Nick. Hey, do we have anybody on Zoom?
Nobody has raised their hand after 4 attempts to try to get.
4 attempts, all right, so. Okay, resolution number 2021, a resolution authorizing the interfund loan in the amount of 300,000 between Community Development Fund and Visitor and Tourism Fund for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Move we approve resolution number 2021 as read.
One second. Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2021. Any discussion?
Could you briefly just show the difference between 2018 and this one? Just the.
Oh,
What's
What are you talking about?
Previous resolution, you said it was modified.
oh.
Modify the, oh, that's.
Yeah, that's the next.
Okay.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2021. Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Sundin.
Aye.
Councilor Gunderson. Aye. Councilor Hubbard.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Resolution number 2022, a resolution authorizing City Administrator John Walsh and City Financial Director Gloria Bush to establish an events checking account and rescinding resolution 2018.
I make a motion to adopt resolution number 2022 as read.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2022. Lori, could you talk a little bit about what we changed? Because I know it's.
The reason we had to come back with this one was because it wasn't specific enough and it did not name John as the city administrator and it did not name me as the finance director. So that's the change.
The bank wanted that clear.
The bank required that. Yeah.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2022. Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Sundin.
Aye.
Councilor Gunderson.
Aye.
Councilor Hubbard.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Resolution number 2023, a resolution to adopt purchasing policies for the city of St. Helens superseding any previous policies.
Motion to approve resolution number 2023.
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2023. Any discussion? Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Councilor Sundin.
Aye.
Councilor Gunderson. Aye. Councilor Hubbard.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Resolution number 2024, a resolution to adopt purchasing card policies for the city of St. Helens superseding resolution 1784.
Clarification on 1784.
So a motion been made.
I have
I mean,
second it.
No, I haven't. There hasn't been a motion made.
Oh,
I'm sorry, but those are things that should be brought up in public comment, and we discussed these earlier throughout the day in our work sessions. So, again, I read the resolutions. number 2024.
I make a motion to adopt resolution number 2024.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2024. Any discussion?
Just that we did clarify this a little bit during the work session earlier, so if you want to go back and look at it, Lori did a really good job of what the changes were, and in fact, the need for the policies altogether that were there, so
Okay. So President Chilton,
I.
Counselor Sundin, Counselor Hubbard,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's fine. It's all yours.
Counselor Gunderson, Counselor Hubbard.
And
Okay, and I'm an aye as well.
Stuff my toes.
Sorry, Mark.
Sorry.
Resolution number 2025, a resolution to amend the City of St. Helens Personnel Policies and Procedures Handbook. Resolution 1913 as amended regarding payroll fees.
Make a motion to adopt resolution number 2025.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 2025. Counselor President Chilton.
I.
Counselor Sundin.
Aye.
Anderson. Counselor Hubbard. Resolution number 2026, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of St. Helens, Oregon, adopting and appropriating funds for supplemental budget fiscal year 2024-2025.
Motion to approve resolution number 2026 is read.
second,
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 26. Council President Chilton.
I.
Counselor Henderson.
Aye.
Counselor Howard. I'm not as well, Kathy. Resolution number 2027, a resolution to amend St. Helens Public Library policies, resolution number 1902 regarding circulation policies.
Move we approve resolution number 2027 as read.
second,
Made and seconded to approve resolution 2027. Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Counselor Sundin. Aye. Counselor Gunderson. Counselor Hubbard. Aye. Okay, approve and authorize the signature 9 first amendment to a contract with Consor North America Inc. for wastewater collection system capacity improvement, professional engineering design service projects. Number S-679. Is that it? That is it.
There's no period there. It's weird.
Good.
I move we approve and or authorize for signature items 9 as read.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve and authorize for signature 9. President Hilton.
Aye.
Counselor Sundin. Aye. Counselor Henderson. Aye. Counselor Hubbard. And I'm an aye as well. Consent agenda for approval and accounts payable bill list.
I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable bill list.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve accounts payable bill list. Council President Hilton.
Aye.
Counselor Kennedy. Counselor Gunderson.
Aye.
Counselor Hubbard. And I'm an aye as well. Okay, work session was very long. I don't think we had any other subjects other than we kicked our city administrator report up to tonight, so.
Yeah, I had intended to be brief after the longer work
Yeah.
session there today.
It was one with.
Been super busy with Arcadia, Project Arcadia, and getting them all the information they need through their diligence period, and working with escrow and getting things set up in that regard. But one of the takeaways from the work session and the evening meeting here, as far as public comment, is Mr. Helmlich and Mr. Hall. How I intend to follow up with your concerns, what you're talking about, see if we can talk to police and first responders. And we are actively recruiting police officers. We are we do have anticipated retirements on the horizon here. We're doing our best to get in front of that. It's challenging. It's a tough market out there. I agree. Public safety is very important in communities. Despite all the good stuff that's going on with the waterfront and projects in all directions and new things, it's public safety. If you don't feel safe, that's a whole different level. That's concludes my report.
Council President Chilton.
Well, I want to start off by addressing the comments today and thanking, you guys for showing up in this room. It's very important to do that and to get your voice heard even when you don't feel comfortable, voicing those things. So I'm not gonna forget, what you guys said here today and what's going on in your neighborhood. It's very important to me. Public safety is a huge priority for me. And I have kiddos in my home and I don't want people coming and going from my yard either. So I would feel just as concerned if that was happening at my residence. I hear you guys. And Counselor Sundin is the police commissioner right now, and I think he feels the same way that I do. So I have, every faith that he's going to follow up and try to figure out what's going on with that. So thank you guys for coming. I had a couple of things that I just wanted to share, try to keep things positive. Softball's happening for me. Brady loves it when I talk about softball, but that's what's going on in my life. Campbell, McCormick, that's where I'll be most of the week, playing softball and hanging out with my friends at the softball fields. The senior health fair is next week on the 17th, or in a couple weeks there at the Four Square Church by the DMV. It's a really great resource fair that we have in town for seniors in the community, just to know what's out there. And then back to school is happening. So just a reminder to stay safe when you're driving through neighborhoods in the morning, and, be cautious of buses and kiddos going back and forth. And then Halloween is right around the corner. A lot of us locals that have lived here for many years and have dealt with Halloween Town don't always look forward to it, but there are some really great perks of Halloween Town, and it brings a lot of great business and revenue to the city. And my kiddo thinks it's magical that we live in Halloween Town, and that's something special that I cherish. So that's it.
All right, thank you. Councilman Sunday, all right.
So yeah, I too just want to thank all of you for showing up, whether it's your first time, Brady, whether it's your 5,000th time, I don't know. But thanks for being here. There are people that are very vocal about the things that happen in these meetings and the decisions that are made, and yet they don't show up. So thank you for being here. I know it's intimidating to sit there. But a lot of times when people come here with concerns, it's the first time we've heard these things. So it will be followed up on. And if you didn't, please leave your contact information in the back so that we can get in touch with you. 13 nights came to a wrap. It was a fun run. Thank you, John, for keeping that going and ensuring that it was successful. And again, I continue to hear from people how much they enjoyed it at McCormick Park. They liked being able to spread out. They liked the parking. So again, I hope we can continue to use that venue for future events and show off that park, because it was a beautiful park. I want to thank Nick while you're here for your service on the Parks and Trails Commission. You got to hear from some of them today. Great group, dedicated group of individuals. They go above and beyond to make sure our parks are looking good and that they're safe and just a nice place for everybody to go. So they've got a lot of good things going on, whether it's the urban trail or this Milton Creek Woodland Reserve that they're trying to carve out. A lot of good things going on there. Also, again, want to thank our police officers for the great work that they do. We have a productive meeting yesterday with several members of the Police Association meeting. And I don't want it to be a mystery, but the truth is we are discussing a modified police schedule. And it's not a surprise, but there's aspects about that schedule that probably won't be made available fully to the public.
Did I understand that correctly? Or do they want to pay 90 minutes?
Not at this point. But again, there are discussions going on about things happening in our police department. Decisions with our police administration will, discussions with the police administration will determine how much of that schedule will be made available to the public. Again, this isn't something that any of us wanted to have happen. The police don't want it to happen. We don't want it to happen. There's things that we knew about, retirements coming up, but there's also officers out on sick leave and officers out for other reasons. So we're making do with the resources that we have at this time. I want to guarantee you, just as the police chief has guaranteed me, that there will still be response. The police will still be able to respond. Definitely it's going to take a little bit longer, but there will still be a police response. There will still be coverage. And that's what's being discussed right now. We're going to make it work the best that we can. And we hope it doesn't have to last for very long. Again, we are hiring police officers, so if you know of anybody that's qualified and anybody that would be a good fit, please recommend them, recommend that they talk to our police chief. Again, just wanted to celebrate moving closer to the sale of the paper mill property and the starting of the mill. I think that's gonna be a great thing for our community. I hope that's true of lots of big industry that will be finding its home here in St. Helens, because we know we need all that we can get. So I too am excited for Halloween. I'm excited for what it's again, it's gonna look different. We know that, but it is happening. It will be happening. And I've seen some of the behind the scenes work that's going on between the schedule and the activities that are planned. And again, it's gonna be different than what we're used to, but I'm optimistic and hopeful for good things. So I think that's it.
So Brennan, I just have a question. We have 23 positions, is that correct?
I get the numbers mixed up, but
It's right close to it.
with all of our sergeants and lieutenant, yeah.
And how many are we short and looking for officers?
We have 3 openings, I believe, right now, Kathy. Is that
2 for sure.
2 for sure?
2 for sure.
How many total police do we have?
23, I do believe budgeted when we,
That includes reserve and
Gloria, is that correct?
We don't have any reserve.
Not reserve.
full-time.
Those are sergeants
But
and
those are positions, not actual body.
What's the average schedule per officer?
Sorry, but this is a meeting. We'll give you some answers. John will reach out to you too. Joseph, okay? I just wanted to ask that question though, because he's the liaison, so that's why I was asking. Okay, Counselor, Henderson. Sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Mark.
quiet.
I had a really positive meeting with Treadway earlier this week. I was very impressed with their professionalism, their plans, their outlook for what they want to do with the city. And honestly, I can't wait to see what they do with it. And I'll leave it at that. As usual, planning commission meeting is next week, and the Columbia River Fire and Rescue meeting is next week as well. I will be on vacation and will not be in attendance for the next council meeting because my daughter graduated with her master's degree and we're taking her to Mexico. Surprise, so I'm being available. That's all I got.
Counselor Hubbard.
You may go.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'd like to thank Suzanne Library for doing the bookkeeping work to make things change there and bring everything in better review. And also I hear we got the grant for the solar.
I'm still waiting on a final on that one.
Final one? Okay, getting closer though. So, you know, that's sort of an exciting project, I think, to be at the library where I can see and learn about solar better. The Treadway, I heard tonight that we shouldn't put any money towards tourism because we don't have enough police. I think there are separate issues. I feel this is, Brandon and I were working October, November last year, all the way now, and we finally came to a contractor. We all agreed on a RFP. It's gonna take money to get this new contractor going. The money we should have is tied up. Know when and if we'll ever get it back. So as far as funds that need to get them going, we've got to honor that. And I believe after talking to them, like we all have, they're all business and they're all about joining forces with us and making a hell of a good program. So just they've said they're doing, we've got a winner here, and we'll see. So, and again, citizens, we need more to come forward. Not seem like a big theft to some, there might be bigger thefts around and that sort of thing, but you know, smallest theft, it's your property. The honor with taxes.
It's gonna get worse.
I have a property in Portland which is vandalized all the time. it just got all tagged and everything, and windows were broken out last year. And so, you know, the violence to you sort of seemed minimal, you know, for cans, but that's what does, it escalates. So if we can nip it in the bud. Yeah, so we just need to, honor the request and I know Brandon will. So appreciate you coming.
Fences, it's
And
not,
the police know who they are.
yeah.
That's the problem, is they know who they are and they've dealt with the crime.
Well, Brandon's gonna take care of that.
Also, we aren't saying don't put money into tourism, so you a little bit misstated that one. We're not saying no tourism money.
They're all separate
Right.
issues and we
Yeah,
have to look at each issue
Yeah,
differently.
Yeah, it's-
And
Safety.
I'm digging out of a hole on this issue and trying to make it good.
yeah.
And then we have another issue and I'm gonna do the best I can to, it may not be popular or something.
It's huge.
It's all about taking the one issue and moving forward with it. And that's what we're doing, is moving forward on this stuff. Thanks.
Yeah, again, Joseph, Catherine, thank you for both coming out here, giving testimony. I know that's, you didn't want to be here giving this testimony today. We want you to feel safe in this community. I've lived here all my life. I've always supported policing. You know, we are, as a council and a city, always been about our policing out here. We support the jail levy. The council unanimously supported the jail levy in order to keep them criminals there. Which is coming up on the ballot. That's one way of keeping these people off the streets, is by voting yes on them. You know, I was pretty adamant about, I would support that piece of that because of our safety. But the nice thing is that we are home based too. Not only do we have our 23 officers, we also have OSP and we also have Columbia County based right here. Probably have about 50 officers in the area. So just so you know, I live right across the street from the state cop, so. Just up off the Oak Ridge. Yes, so, but I want to thank you for your service too, Joseph. I really do mean that. I just don't want this thing to get political, and it has, and there's been a lot of mistruths out there. And it's really just about public safety. It's about not making tourism political. It's about having a nice, vibrant community where small businesses can thrive. And public safety is a huge part of that too. So, excuse me. Please conduct yourself professionally. I'm doing my mayor's address. Excuse me. Excuse me. Miss Massey, will you please give me my moment?
You're not sure working at council, so it's political. Correct.
So,
There's 13 officers.
so anyhow,
Not 23, that's our admin.
coming back to this,
Never.
that is not,
Didn't even do a red one.
okay. So, just so you want to start, you know, is this what you guys are gonna do? Show up at my meetings and then interrupt my time? That's very unprofessional. Your daughter's now gonna be your pit bull Adam back there too. We all see it on Facebook. So, on a more positive note, I would like to still continue to support our downtown businesses. We have a beautiful waterfront that's being redeveloped down here with many pipes going in the ground. And we had a great presentation from Mohammed Zara today. Who's doing a fabulous job managing this project. And that being said, we also have our main street, because I was interrupted, I'm kind of a little distracted right now by 3 different people. Is that they are doing a campaign that's called I Dig St. Helens. And what it is I Dig St. Helens campaign is an initiative by St. Helens Main Street to support businesses and engage customers with businesses in a fun, supportive way. Our goal is to create foot traffic and encourage exportation downtown while construction is changing the face of our city. What are the rules? Customers can pick up a punch card at a participating business. And hopefully you, to pick up one. They look like this right here. And then at businesses, participating businesses. When a customer makes a purchase of any size, this card will be punched at the register and then they pay their tab. If the customer collects 9 punches, they win a prize. So what do you expect from me? So they're asking, what do you expect from me, myself? We're hoping you'll distribute the punch cards as customers participate in this challenge. And meanwhile, all this is for the businesses themselves. But anyhow, it's a great campaign. There will be a lot more to follow. You can go onto the website. I've actually already promoted it on my Facebook account, which I use very rarely. Facebook, yes. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of half truths and misleading information out there, and it's just not a healthy venue. I would rather talk to you one-on-one, and I would be more than happy to I will give you my number, my card shortly after this. And I look forward to meeting you and talking to you about some other issues too, that apparently the neighborhoods, and that's the best way, is the neighborhood watch. See something, say something. That's what we always say. You know, when I first came here, when I first became mayor, at my first year here, I went and met with Terry Moss, Chief Moss. He goes, "Ben, you've already been here more than your old mayor." I go, "What? I've only been here 3 times." He goes, "Yeah, he's only been here twice, and one's because he had an issue." So I've been deeply involved in our police department. He told me not to even try about the police department back then, because we knew it was old and outdated. He said, "Don't even try building it." This is all true. I talked to him. Anybody who knows Terry can call him and find out. And you know, it's just been a struggle, and we continue to support our police. There's just been so much out there that it's not about policing versus tourism. And that's what you get with some issues going on out there that are political. And I serve all citizens. Doesn't matter your political affiliation, your sex, your color, your skin. I serve you all, and I will always give you the time, except for when you put a lie about me on Facebook. An anonymous post is what you go off of. An anonymous poster. I will not have respect for you. That being said, I'm happy